Hello everyone, good day from wherever you're joining me. You're welcome to our weekly webinar. My name is Chioma Odikulo. Thank you for joining me. Just few minutes, please. Yes, thank you for joining me. So we'll move straight into our conversation of today. We have limited time, so let's try to do this fast. So today we'll be discussing of how we can stretch ourselves as parents. So as parents, how can we stretch ourselves? Now we must remember as parents that stretching ourselves means stepping outside of our comfort zone. So stepping off outside of our comfort zone to grow emotionally, to grow mentally, and to grow behaviorally. So we must get to that point where we need to step out of our comfort zone if we must grow. Now, why is it important for us as parents to stretch ourselves? It is important for us to stretch ourselves because growth as a parent, growing as a parent, positively impacts not just your children, but it impacts your life. Because our first job and our first responsibility as parents is to grow. So when we begin to grow, it impacts ourselves, our life first. Now, as a parent, are you growing? Are you stretching yourself to grow? Are you stretching yourself beyond what you think you can achieve? We can stretch ourselves. We can grow. Now, sometimes stretching ourselves feels hard. And why does it feel hard to stretch ourselves sometimes? Sometimes we are in our comfort zone. We are in this comfort zone trap. Now, sometimes we get too familiar with our routines. We get too familiar with the things we do on a daily basis, and we're just relaxed. So we find it difficult to stretch ourselves because we've gotten to that point where we are comfortable. Sometimes we don't stretch ourselves because of fear of failure, fear of making mistakes, fear of being laughed at, fear of being mocked, fear of not getting something. So you say, okay, instead of me stretching myself, I rather sit back. Another reason why people don't stretch themselves is because of emotional resilience. Sometimes some of us feel guilty, some of us have self-doubt, some of us just want to avoid stretching ourselves. You just feel, oh, I don't know if I can handle this thing. So we just shy away from stretching ourselves. But we must remember that stretching ourselves has a lot of benefits on us as parents. Stretching ourselves impacts and affects us as parents first, because personal growth for us as parents leads to confidence. It increases our confidence as parents, it increases our emotional resilience, and it helps us to be fulfilled. Another benefit why we need to stretch ourselves is for our children. When we stretch ourselves, we model to our children that they can grow. We model to our children that you can achieve what you want to achieve. We model to our children adaptability. We model to our children resilience. And we model to our children to have a growth mindset. Thank you for joining me, Ma. Thank you, Ma. Now, another benefit of stretching ourselves is because of our family dynamics. When you stretch yourself, you find that you give more to your family. When you stretch yourself, you find out that you begin to connect more. When you stretch yourself as a parent, you find out that you begin to communicate more. You begin to learn how to problem solve. Now, we must always remember as parents that we can stretch ourselves in different areas. So what are the areas we can begin to stretch ourselves in? Number one, emotional stretching. Now, as parents, we must learn to get to that point where we can manage and regulate our emotions. Instead of reacting impulsively, we can get to that point of self-reflection. For example, your child has just spilled water on the floor, or your child is preparing for school and your child is taking time, delaying. We must get to that point of managing our emotions. We can manage our emotions. We can learn to do things better. And how can we manage our emotions? We must first of all learn to name the emotions we feel per time. Then some of the things we can begin to do is to practice deep breathing. So when you find out that you're being anxious at work or anywhere, within you can practice deep breathing. You can become mindful and aware of the emotion you feel per time. Because when you know the emotion, you'll be able to handle it. Another way we can stretch ourselves is mental stretching. How can we stretch ourselves mentally? By challenging our old beliefs, by challenging ourselves and telling ourselves, I'm not perfect. It is okay to make mistakes. And when I make mistakes, I get up, pick up myself, dust myself, learn from my mistakes, and continue my journey. So as parents, we must get to that point of being comfortable with making mistakes. We must get to that point of being okay with making mistakes. Don't crucify yourself. We should not crucify ourselves, because we should learn to extend grace to ourselves. Then the third type of stretching is behavioral stretching. As parents, we must learn to adopt new behaviors. We must learn to adopt good characters or new characters that will help us to be better parents and better individuals. We must learn to manage our behaviors, our situations. We must avoid yelling. We must learn to do things that will impact people positively. That is what we can do as parents. So another way we can stretch ourselves is self-care and personal growth. So we must learn to prioritize our own needs. We must learn to prioritize our self-care. We must learn to prioritize our growth. So are you prioritizing your self-care? Oh my God, I'm talking to myself. Are we prioritizing our self-care? Are you prioritizing your growth? You can grow, you can improve, you can learn. You can learn. Anything you think is difficult is because you've not subjected yourself to a system or a space that can make you learn that thing. So we can learn. So we should begin to ask ourselves, what are the things I can start to do from today that can help me to grow as a parent? Now, what are the practical steps for us to stretch ourselves as parents? Number one, self-awareness. We must start by being aware of ourselves. The truth is that most of us are not aware of ourselves. So we must get to that point of sitting down, being aware of ourselves, knowing who we are. Knowing who we are as individuals, being aware of what we feel per time, being aware of the emotions we feel per time. And one of the ways we can be aware is when we start to journal. So journal your thoughts. Journal what happened today. Journal your reaction. Journal the way you react when your husband or your wife talk to you about some certain things. Journal the way you react when you see your children act in some certain way. When you begin to journal, you get to that point of understanding and being self-aware. Another way we can stretch ourselves as parents is to start small. Just start small. We should focus on one area of growth and improve on that area. You know, most times as parents, we want to grow. You want to grow today. You just read one book today and you want to see changes today. No! Changes take time. Growth, as they say, is silent. So we must learn to focus on a particular area and improve on that area. Another way we can stretch ourselves is to embrace discomfort. Growth happens outside of our comfort zone. So we must learn to embrace discomfort. We must learn to embrace our mistakes as parents. So as parents, we should learn to extend grace to ourselves. We should tell ourselves, I am learning and I am growing. It is one step at a time. Learn to extend grace to yourself. Learn to extend compassion to yourself, because we all need it. Another way we can stretch ourselves is to seek support. Are you struggling as a parent? You can reach out to parenting coaches. You can reach out to parenting support group. They will be of good help to you. We must learn to seek support from our family, from our friends, from people that can be of help to us. Another way we can stretch ourselves is to celebrate our progress. Reflect on your small wins as a parent and how they are impacting you. Reflect on your small wins. Don't wait till you've gotten everything all figured out. Don't wait till you've gotten your goal achieved 100%. Reflect on your small wins on a daily basis and appreciate your small wins. You know, appreciate the efforts you make per time. Now, what are the common challenges we parents face when we start to stretch ourselves? The challenges we face is, number one, fear of judgment. Sometimes we are scared of being judged. Sometimes we ask ourselves, what will others think about me? But we should not focus on that. We should focus on our journey. Another challenge we as parents we face is impatience. wanting immediate result instead of trusting the process. We must learn to trust the process. We must learn to understand that we are on a journey of growth, and everything or change will not just happen immediately. It's a journey, and we must be focused and continue on that journey. Sometimes we parents are scared of overwhelm, trying to change too much at once. We must learn to focus at one thing per time. When you're done with that thing, you move to the next. Now we must learn to be patient with ourselves. We must learn to focus on the process over progress. Process over perfection. We must learn to focus on our small wins on a daily basis. So as parents, what are the things we can begin to do to stretch ourselves? We must leave our comfort zone. We must tell ourselves that I am going to grow, I am going to improve, I am going to be renewed, I am going to transform myself. We must get to that point of speaking to ourselves, and when we speak to ourselves, we get to work. Now, in summary, we must remember that stretching ourselves is a gift to ourselves and our children. So when you stretch yourself as a parent, you're giving yourself the gift, and you're giving your children the gifts of you. Now, we must remember that small stretches lead to big transformation. Small stretches lead to big transformation. Your baby steps lead to big transformation. Now, we must always remember to have ongoing conversation with ourselves. Reflect on yourself. Reflect on your journey. Reflect on your process. Reflect on what you're doing as a parent and as an individual. Are you growing? Are you improving? Now, when you find out that you need to do more, get up and stretch yourself. So we can all stretch ourselves. We should not limit ourselves. We all have a growth mindset and not a fixed mindset. So that is where we come to the end of our class today. Please remember to pre-order my book, Becoming the Renewed Parent. It's out there. I'm going to drop the link for us to pre-order. It's a beautiful book. It's a wonderful book you can get for yourself. You can gift it to someone. You know, it's a book that will teach us, that will set you off on your journey of growth, on your journey of renewal. It's a wonderful book I'll recommend to everyone out there. Please pre-order the book. Pre-order is on. Pre-order for yourself and for your family and friends. So thank you for joining me today. Till I come your way next time. See you in our next class. And remember to be renewed in your minds. Remember to have a growth mindset and not a fixed mindset. Do have a great day. Thank you for your time. I do not take your time for granted. Bye.